third in that upper left-hand corner. Nice job, KawaiiRice. Rooting for you. Go for it. Well, I'll remain unbiased, actually. 5 factories pumping nothing but vultures at this stage. A couple tanks along otherwise. I like that mine placement here at the 6 o'clock. G5 starting to move forward. It looks like he's got a couple Dragoons caught out in open field, though. Still somehow managing to survive, doing a lot of damage to that vulture force out in the field. And KawaiiRice, yeah, going to go with, just going to try to rely, I guess, on his heavy macro skills and go nothing but vultures here into the mid-game and rely on tanks for his latent defense. Looks like Templar Archives up, waiting for a Stargate. There's a Stargate to get Arbiter Tech into the mid-game. G5 pushing the upper left-hand corner. It looks like actually he's backing off, waiting for that Observer, wants to make sure he's not running headlong into mines. With just vultures and this small Dragoon contain outside his front door, KawaiiRice isn't going to be able to defend this top left-hand corner. He doesn't have the vultures in position to do it. He didn't have enough mines laid. So G5 going to maintain the economic advantage. It looks like KawaiiRice canceling that command center at the upper left-hand corner. Big win for G5. Absolutely huge win. 2 vultures getting caught, a little bit out in the field again. Wow, absolutely devastating conditions now for KawaiiRice, and honestly, with all the vultures that he's been producing, he has not gotten anything out of him. This is another one of those stages of the games where I say this is his weakness. He's going to be delayed on his third quite a bit, and let's see what he can do. It looks like he's going to just kind of unsiege up. He's got weapons 1, going to make a push. He's going to start going straight into G5, and he's got a lot of Dragoons to deal with this, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has some Dark Templar that are going to be coming out in not too long. Getting a couple Zealots, probably has speed. Yeah, it looks like speed about halfway finished. Looks like he's going to be somewhat behind, at least in the upgrade battle, but he's not going up against a huge siege tank force here. There's only 5 siege tanks, and with his amount of production and against the vultures, as long as he's not going into a fixed position, he's going to come out of this pretty shiny here. You can see the big Dragoon spread. He can just run up, pick a couple troops off. KawaiiRice is going to be extremely delayed, and G5 is going to have time to get a lot of his tech out. And keep in mind also, none of this is anti-air. KawaiiRice doesn't have any mobile detection, and you've already got that Stargate up and probably the Arbiter Tribunal warping in momentarily, and it looks like we caught it just in time as it's being planted. So the vultures trying to move forward, plant some mines, back off, get a couple free siege tank hits, but G5 with a very nice cone. He's got that Observer just hanging out right above. He's going to have a good spot on where that siege tank line is. Looks like he lost 1 Dragoon there, but basically the longer this lasts, the more he's going to be able to reinforce it with troops. It looks like he's got speed Zealots now, which are absolutely devastating to this, and KawaiiRice is in a position where he really can't move. He can't push out. He can't take a third. G5 is really going to be able to, and you can see G5's actually, his supply count just absolutely brutal right now. KawaiiRice going to get starved out on a third once again. He's going to have some difficulty. Maybe even trying to sneak out to try to isolate his mineral only. But you can see just inching forward and losing a couple vultures while doing it. G5 can just sit here, let KawaiiRice kind of pound his head against this, and again, it's just going to be a matter of time before we see that Arbiter out. Looks like it's already coming along its way, and if he can get 1 good stasis in, if KawaiiRice gets caught out of position without the detection, he could end up in a lot of trouble. Moving those vultures forward, it looks like those Zealots are going to be somewhat protected, but this is a really nice attack position. G5 is going to go for the attack here, pushing in the Zealots leading up front. He's now backing off, actually. Very nice on KawaiiRice to actually plant those mines as quickly as possible, and doing an excellent job of doing so. G5 realizing, I think, he wants to wait for that Arbiter, wants to reposition a little bit, and is doing so. And SCV somehow managed to sneak out here, and some vultures actually able to sneak out. Let's see if they manage to go in. This 3 o'clock position completely unprotected. This bottom right hand corner does have 2 cannons, a couple idle probes here and there. It looks like weapons 1 being upgraded, but that Arbiter going to be out before too long, and at that stage KawaiiRice is going to be in a lot of trouble. It looks like he is starting to isolate. He did manage to get up that mineral only by floating it out there, but G5 has the 6 o'clock. Looks like KawaiiRice knows about it at the very least, but he doesn't have any mobile detection. He doesn't have a lot of comsat to work with. He really hasn't been conserving it up to this stage. Looks like a lot of mines actually planted in the north. G5 already on top of it, though, starting to clear that minefield. He's got the Observer out in position. Single vulture just kind of hanging out there to the north at this stage, and he's going to take that mineral only, actually, really feeling confident with his map control, especially with that Arbiter on the way. With that SCV just kind of sitting there, he's like, oh, whatever, you can go ahead and see it. Gonna lose a probe, but really it's not going to be that big a pain for him. This actually amount of Zealots, that Arbiter and that Dragoon should be able to, well, it looks like he's going to comsat. Just plant a single mine and back off otherwise, and moving out in the field, and they're not long for life. But KawaiiRice, in the meantime, at least he's able to secure his third, and it is mineral only, so he'll be able to keep producing those vultures like he wanted to. At this stage, though, I really worry because G5 economically in a fantastic position. He's going to be a couple bases over KawaiiRice, and technologically in a fantastic position. He's already got one Arbiter out in the field, and I think he's just waiting for stasis before he goes in for a major attack. Looks like he's already got, I assume he already has it researched, and I think he might just be waiting for the energy. G5, when he kind of gets in these pressure situations like this, he tends to play a little bit more safely, actually, and that's kind of been a new style of his play. It looks like I'm used to seeing him play kind of off-kilter, playing a little bit more aggressively into the mid-game, but once he has an economic advantage, he will relax, he will calm down, and he will kind of back off to that, and that's kind of been the pattern, at least in these games, which I think is smart, because that, in the past, he has ended up he doesn't like losing games when he shouldn't have. Right now he's at 200 supply. He can afford to kind of push in some attacks, especially if KawaiiRice is going to kind of push in like this out of position. He's going to lose a lot of probes here, but looks like he's actually just going to isolate these vultures in. I thought he might just run up for an attack, but going to wait for it, going to keep that energy storing. Might even go for a recall here, moving in with that Arbiter to kind of isolate these troops in, planting a couple cannons. Just content. Looks like these. Make sure these vultures hold the high ground. A Zealot running in, going to clear a lot of these mines, get taken out. But otherwise, yeah, G5 still in a fantastic position, still has a ton of supply, still has Kawhi isolated. Kawhi now moving out, looks like he's going to make his aggressive maneuver, but G5 really needs to think about getting a lot more gateways down or pressing into this before Kawhi hits, first of all, better upgrades, or additionally 200 supply, because a 200 supply army, absolutely devastating. Running in right now, this is a very highly, this is a pretty staceable situation, but that's a lot of siege tanks otherwise. He's going to have to rely on either Sidestorm or specifically Stasis to kind of press through this army, and it looks like KawaiiRice's plan now is to swing around, isolate the 6 o'clock, take that out, and basically camp that and hold the resources from there. G5 needs to get some Sidestorm out, needs to get a good recall out, needs to get some Stasis somewhere in there. It looks like he's already managed to expend, lost, it looks like that 6 o'clock to just some vultures here. But otherwise, looks like he is in a position. He does have that 151. I'm kind of curious if he's wow, actually pumping some carriers now. So actually did a quick tech switch. He does have. It looks like he didn't have stasis researched. Imagine to kill a couple vultures as they were pushing to that mineral only, but. It looks like I think he lost a couple probes at that location. Doesn't actually need to mine at these bases, just needs to cap the gas and kind of rely on them for the later game. It looks like his main is mined out, but otherwise he's got some, yeah, he can just rely on the 3-base mining for quite a while to maintain this army. Looks like KawaiiRice still behind on supply, a little bit behind on upgrades, I would think, at this stage. G5 did, I assume he has 2 forges down, starting to actually switch into the weapons upgrade, and KawaiiRice is actually going to be in a devastating situation once these carriers are produced, because first of all, Arbiter out in the field, and that's always difficult to deal with, but additionally, I see 1 Goliath, and that is essentially it. 1 Goliath, okay, 3 more Goliaths coming out, so KawaiiRice might have actually comp-sided that and seen the tech switch, but otherwise he's landlocked and does not have a lot of turrets out, does not have a lot of units out otherwise, so going to be in a really difficult spot to deal with the carriers with just a gigantic ground army, and I don't think he's going to have the upgrades really to deal with it. So G5 can again kind of play this slowly, wait for the carriers to come out, start attacking from there. Looks like he is managing to take that interior 6 o'clock. I don't think he's all that concerned, because right now with the economy he has, with everything he has in the bank, he can continue to just kind of push those units out. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in for an attack just to empty his supply a little bit to produce some additional carriers. But yeah, KawaiiRice just moving a little bit too slowly. Especially, again, I think taking his third, looks like he floated out an SCV to this bottom left, has a couple defensive troops there in that bottom left. Probably not going to last very long. G5 has a couple troops here to the north, and I'm still waiting for him to make a maneuver, again, just to empty supply a little bit. And he's also going to plant a command center, a nexus in that top left-hand corner. But yeah, I think, again, the game plan from this stage on is just wait for the carriers, press from there. Looks like he's already got 3 out, the 4th on the way. He might even just do it with 4, because I'm not seeing him opening up any additional supply. Now moving back across the field, he's got some mines planted here and there. And the vultures managing to squirt through, which, yeah, Prominent could get a lot accomplished there. Looks like they're running into some speed zealots. Some speed zealots actually running to contain the vultures, which is a little bit hilarious. More supply being freed up for G5, and let's see how he decides to replenish that once again. If he is going to go again with just more carriers, or if he's just going to keep going with the speed zealots on the ground. Looks like he is filling in with another carrier there, and KawaiiRice just holding position. I guess he feels like he can take the 6 o'clock whenever he wants to. He's got a command center already built and ready to slot in position, and otherwise just waiting for for the upgrades, which is dangerous against a player like G5. G5 has a full supply Arbiter out in the field, has a lot of other units kind of running out in the mix, and keep in mind he still has those carriers out to the other position. So 3 cannons going to die here to the south. It looks like that 6 o'clock kind of being mined at, but it's just 2 probes, so it wouldn't be all that horrendous a loss. And now G5 going in for an attack to the